One real quick. Just think of the first name that comes to your mind.
The first name that comes to my mind?
Yeah, hurry up.
Lawrence.
Lawrence?
Yeah.
All right.
But that's not a weird name. That's Larry.
Larry, yeah, good.
And Gregory.
Oh, fair enough. Fair enough.
I love the name Gregory, and people call him Greg.
Gregorio? Yeah.
No, yeah, that's it's Gregory and Gregorio is the same name. Only, the Italians would say Gregorio instead of Gregory.
Right, or the Spanish maybe too. I mean, one thing I never understood when I took Italian, in high school, my Italian name was Enrique. I didn't quite like that because it wasn't Italian enough.
Oh, I like the name Enrique, but I like my mother's way.
I bet you do. What?
Erky.
Yes, and you know what? Erky Burger, right? Erky Burger.
So, my mother calls you Erky. Everybody else turned it to Erky Burger.
No, that's one. I have
no idea.
I have a memory of her calling me. I could actually hear her voice say it. I have a memory of her saying it.
Oh, it was Boyka. Erky Boyka. And then they turned it to Burger.
Yeah, what does that mean? Is that in
Boy. It means Eric Boy.
Oh, and that's in what?
Finnish. If you would say Nicky Boy, you know what I mean? And I call Johnny Johnny Boy. You know what I mean?
Right.
Erky is Eric, and Boyka is boy. So she would call you Eric Boy, but she'd say Eric Boyka. And everybody else turned it to Eric Burger.
Yeah, and she's Scandinavian, and I call Rex once in a while. I call him Tommy Boy. So I would say what? Tommy Boyka?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, it wouldn't be Tommy Boyka. It would be, however, the Finns say Thomas, which I don't know. It would be Thomas, I guess. Thomas Boyka.
Maybe, or it'd just be Tom Boyga. Tom Boyga. But
It would be Thomas Boy, no matter how she would use the first name. Like my brother Pepe's name was Emil, which is another odd name for a boy. It was Emil. But she didn't say Emil. She would call him Emily Boyka.
Right.
Because it would come out Emily, like a girl's name. But so many boys' and girls' names are just about the same.
Did
like,
she?
George and Georgina. You know what I mean?
Did Grandma have a nickname for my father?
No, she called him Ray.
Oh, well, that's kind of an.
She called him Ray.
Yeah. Did she like him?
Oh yeah, she adored him. Yes, she did very much. Oh yes, she liked him a lot.
What about your first husband? Did she like him?
Yeah, but it wasn't as much as she liked Daddy.
Yeah, he was okay.
Yeah, she didn't. She liked his mother until she found out how wicked she was, and then she told me I was right.
What do you mean?
Well, I never liked my mother-in-law. A few weeks after I married him, she was really bad. She was a very bad woman.
What would you?
Let me tell you something that really bugs the shit out of me. That woman was so mean to me that she came right out and blamed me for her son's death. I didn't have anything to do with his death. That was God. He was born with a bad heart. But she actually said to me, I made you my son healthy and you killed him in 3 years. I'm not kidding. She said this is very evil. And after she died, of course she wanted to, she even thought that Dee Dee was somebody else because she was so fair. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm listening. It's interesting. You've told me the story before, but it's really interesting.
Yeah, but as mean as she was to me, when she wanted to see her grandchildren, not once did I ever say, no, you can't come.
Right.
Or, I don't want you to see the kids. You know what I mean?
Of course.
If she said, I'm coming tomorrow, I said, okay. Or she would come. When I lived in Brooklyn, she would just come. And, I just could never be that mean. I couldn't do it. You know what I mean? And she would favor John. She also kind of like Lisa. Didi, she used to ignore her. She even came and said to me, is that Johnny's? You know, I don't know how you had that one. You know how fair Didi is. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, really vicious woman. And,
What was her name?
Huh?
What was her name?
I used to call her Mrs. Oppinger. What was her first name? May.
May, huh?
Yeah, May. But anyway, I never liked her. She was just a horrible woman. But as mean as she was,
She's probably all right. Give her a little credit. I mean, she's probably okay, right?
She wasn't even okay.
Fair enough.
You had to live it to know it. I mean, there's very few people that you ever hear me say that about.
I know.
And there's two women in this world that, and one of them is Jimmy's wife.
Joni?
Yeah.
Oh.
You know, she's the biggest phony I ever met in my life, and she's just not a nice lady at all.
Right.
You know? But what are you going to do? You know, in life you meet these people.
Isn't she a woman? Isn't she a woman of God, though?
What does that got to do with it? I think
Right.
she's a big phony. I think she's a phony.
Mm-hmm.
Everything she does, everything she says relates back to her. It's all about her.
Right.
You know what I mean? But the only thing I do give her...
Wait, hold on. What about her husband?
My Jimmy?
Yeah.
He's a good guy.
Think so?
Yes, and he's sincere. He's sincere. His belief is sincere. You know, I'm not saying everything he does is right, but he's a good person. He is.
Mm.
No? Jimmy's a very good person. Even if he dislikes someone, he doesn't have a mean bone in his body, you know?
To be determined, I believe.
Huh?
I said that's to be determined, you know?
Yeah. Oh, with Jimmy?
Yeah, well, with me anyway. I mean, I don't even know him, so, you know, I mean, it's not like Kathy. Kathy was around as much as possible, but,
Oh, Kathy's another good person. She has a very good heart.
she's amazing, you know? But, you know, and so is you know, Dennis, and so are the kids.
Yeah.
And, you know, I remember, like, brief periods with Jimmy and Joni, but I don't...
You don't know them. You didn't ever get to really know them. I know. I
Right.
wish you did.
And how far away did they live?
Oh, a few miles. Center Ridge. They lived a long time in Center Ridge, and we lived in Lake Grove. So how far is that?
Not far, right?
No.
Right.
And, well, I'll give you one example of what she said to me one day. She wanted my house. The property that Dad built the house on.
Yeah.
She wanted. And I said to her, oh, she says, no. I said to her, I couldn't do that. I don't want to sell that piece of property. So at the time, of course, I didn't want to sell it. So she said, why? And I said, well, to be honest, you know, I don't want anybody that's so particular next to me. So she said to me, well, if I go out and throw garbage on the lawn, would that make you happy?
Yeah, she's that kind of person, huh?
Yeah. You know?
Well, it is what it is, right?
Yeah, so...
She's a lady of God.
Terrible thing to say to somebody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, that's not a nice thing to say.
Yeah, I'll tell you a story. Someone, you know, my ex-wife, Dale. Obviously, you know her, right?
Yeah.
You know, she's not the same kind of person as Joni, but you know, she's religious. And when I had my boat, you know, and I lived over at the house in Smithtown.
Did Buddha?
Yeah, the Buddha one, right? You know, my nickname was Boots too. When you know, Ralph, my best friend Ralph, he nicknamed me Boots when I was younger.
Uh-huh.
I don't ever ask him why. I think just because I have a fat belly, but anyway, she came out and she had to throw a towel over the name.
That's so stupid.
Right? Now, think about why she did that. She had to come out, and she probably, I don't know. I mean, I don't feel like she genuinely believed she needed to do it, but I believe that maybe there was someone in the neighborhood that she, you know, attended church with. and probably either said something or she anticipated the person saying something. So she went out and threw a towel over the name of a boat. And the name of the boat was the Buddha 1. It was a red and white boat. I think it was a Mercruiser IO. And it had the name painted on the back of it. And it was spelled BUDDAH1, I believe. I think it was the person's last name. So,
you know, things like that don't bother me. Well, look at me. Look at what happened.
It bothered me a lot.
I put on the Christmas tree, you know that, I put the Star of David on the Christmas tree every Christmas.
Praise.
I've been doing that, gotta be 40 years.
Right.
The same star. When I open up my Christmas stuff, I say, oh, where's my Star of David? Now, the Star of David is a Jewish symbol, symbolizing Judaism.
Well, it is now.
Yeah, well, at the time, it was just the star, but now, just like the cross, ever since Christ died, we use the cross as a symbol. The Star of David is the Jewish symbol.
Right, but those symbols go way back further than Judaism. They go way back further than polytheism, monotheism.
So does the swastika, for that matter. But
right.
I understand all of that.
That one's coming back, by the way.
Huh?
I said that one's coming back. So is the mustache.
But anyway, I put it up.
Fair
and
enough.
That woman, my first husband's mother, that's how far back it goes. She said to me, "You're putting this Jewish star on your Christmas tree?" I said, "Yeah."
Right.
I said, "Christ was a Jew." But you can't do that. Why? Because the Jews killed Christ.
They
I
did?
looked at her and I said, "The Jews didn't kill Christ." And she said, "Oh, yes, they did." And then her daughter said, "Yes, they did." I said, "No, they didn't. The Jews did not kill Christ." She says, "Well, who did? The Romans?" I said, "No, the Romans didn't kill Christ."
Let me ask you, who killed Christ?
I did.
Right.
What do you mean, right?
You're absolutely right. I was setting you up for a wrong there. I was going to be like, wrong, but you got me. You're right. You killed him.
That's right. Anybody who sins killed him. Because he killed for me. He died for me. That's what the story is.
Oh, that's deep.
He went on that cross for my sins. Everybody's sins, but mine in particular. So I
Be
killed
careful about that one.
Well, what did you mean when I said I'm right?
It'll all come out in the wash. Don't worry about it.
No, you give me your explanation.
Well, you know, I'm into physics and science, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I have a unique take on the universe itself and religion, and I believe, you know, and I'm still asking questions, obviously, and I think that's pretty much the whole point. Like, you have to keep asking questions. That's why science and technology is so important. But you don't dismiss religion, and you don't dismiss the supernatural because it exists. So,
It's faith. That's how I feel. But go ahead.
say that again?
You don't dismiss faith.
Well, she'd be really pissed. Look at her Instagram.
Stop that faith.
Yeah, I know. But no, I know what you mean. You don't dismiss it, but you can't. I don't know how to say it because, you know, again, like I said, I'm still asking questions. But I believe our existence is sort of a simulation, not a simulation like a computer game, but something like that. And you know, it gets very selfish. Just put it that way. But it doesn't, if that makes sense. I'm not ready. I'm not really ready to come out and explain it yet. But you know, it takes time.
Well, keep asking questions. But now I have a question for
Right.
you, and I have to admit I was offended, but I didn't understand it, so I wasn't totally offended.
Go ahead.
I saw a picture that you took. You take a lot of pictures, and I like a lot of them.
When was this picture you saw?
On on Facebook.
Yeah, but when was it? It wasn't this morning, was it?
I saw this picture of, I don't even know what the subject was, except that I think
Okay,
it
good.
was trash.
You would have known right away. What?